Hello and welcome to Illiterate-ly. My name is Gina.
And I'm Belle.
And collectively we have 4 college degrees and 2 brain cells, which we sit here and use to gossip about books or whatever those brain cells decide we need to gossip about today. Sometimes the books dictate what that is. Sometimes they don't.
Derails quickly.
Always. 24/7.
But that's how you know it's real. We are so glad you're here today. We hope you stay for a while. Today we are talking about a Kindle Unlimited. Is it considered a novella?
It is a novella.
It is a novella.
Because it's under 200 pages.
Heck yeah. We are reading Flow by Kennedy Ryan. It is book 1 in a trilogy.
Yes.
So.
But they are all novellas or close to novellas. They're not.
When I tell you my heart sank, book 2, 400 pages.
Yeah, she doesn't write novellas. That's why I was so excited.
I was tricked.
I didn't know. I try not to do a ton of research about the books before I pick them because I just want to know, I know a little bit so that I can know if they're BIPOC or LGBTQ. And then if they are, I throw that bitch on a wheel. Or we pick this one because I really wanted to read a Kennedy Ryan because I haven't read Kennedy Ryan yet. Mm-hmm. And I know Kennedy Ryan, just in my real life, have wanted to read Kennedy Ryan.
Yeah.
Has been a priority for me to do so. And then I was like, oh, fuck, she's got a novella. She's got a novella. And I was immediately was Black History. Yes. I was I'm not chancing it at the wheel. I'm putting it on. So I'm so sorry.
I respect it. Because I feel like it was very much a strategy. Because it was very much a teaser of a book.
Oh, it was so good. Okay, hang on. Before we get started, this is a content disclaimer. We do talk about adult books here. We are going to try to keep it as PG as possible because actually this book was kind of a little bit more PG-13 than we had anticipated. It's definitely closer to the new adult territory. It is definitely it's still an adult book. Don't get us wrong.
Yes.
Adult themes, adult things happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that means under 18. Get out of here if you can. Go. Bye. Okay? So spicy book, spicy words. This one's not a spicy book though. So
no.
Unfortunately, I'm in real trouble for this one, guys. I'm in real trouble for this one.
You're in trouble for reasons you don't know.
Oh no!
We'll get there.
I'm so scared. I was selfish with this pick and now I'm in trouble. But it's also the same. The next pick is the reason that we're reading. Belle is the reason we're reading 2 werewolf books in 1 month.
You're welcome.
But I picked. This was for me, and now I feel like I'm about to be attacked. I'm going to be attacked.
No. We only send love and light to all the authors that we talk about. It's hard to publish a book. We never want to come off like we're being mean to them or judging them. We are simply in a spot where we're talking about books because it's fun.
This is for the readers, not for the authors. God, for the love of God,
Yeah.
if you're an author and we are reading one of your books, do not watch your episode, brosif.
No.
That literally makes me sick to my stomach to think. As both a writer and a reader, the idea of a writer watching one of our episodes, absolutely not. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because it's never a reflection on you as a person.
Yeah. And all books are different and everybody has different tastes and
we're so biased.
100%.
We're so biased. Every reader's biased. It's a thing. We're so biased. Yeah. And right now, I will tell everybody right now, my bias is different right now because I'm watching a lot of true crime recently. And so I tried to read a dark romance book and I was I read Butcher and Blackbird because I'm really into true crime. And then I was I needed more information about this. And then I was oh my God, I'm watching too much true crime. You never know what you're biased about until you meet it. So just authors are good. If you're an author, just go away. We love you. Go away.
Watch a different video, please.
Watch a different video, please. Okay. Now, let's give you the lowdown on what Flow by Kennedy Ryan is about. There's a future where Marlon James is a star and Bristol Gray is his no-nonsense manager. Right now, though, she's an Ivy League student who's missing her twin brother. He is Ryerson's best friend and the pop filter between the two when she comes to visit for a week. Neither of them expects that the notes will be just right as they spend time together. Neither of them expects for their open conversations to come to a close in such an explosive way. What a setup to the book Grip. This is huge setup for Marlon James is also nicknamed Grip in this. He's referred to as Grip for the entire book. So for in the synopsis on Amazon for him to be referred to as Marlon James is wild to me.
That is wild.
I thought that was really weird. And also, I really didn't know. I thought they were all novellas, first of all. I did know that it was like, but I thought they were like companion novellas. And now that I look at it, I understand. Turns out I was just dumb.
Yeah.
I like didn't do my full research because I don't want to know. Like I don't want to know too much. And so I was like, okay, I just want to know like just a little bit.
Yeah. Triggers.
Yes, we got to talk about triggers.
Yes. Before we start talking about the book in depth, please take time to look up any triggers. This one doesn't have as much, like, there's no spice, so there's no, like, spicy triggers, but there is mention of pregnancy, there's mention of, or betrayal. So those are the big two. That
Drug addiction
is
a huge one, as well as parental abuse.
Yes.
For sure.
So if any of those are some hard hitters for you, or if there's any others that you might want to double check for, take care of you first. You got to look out for you.
There's also, in this one, I want to specifically point out that this is, Bristol is white and Grip, Marlon is black, and they do have a lot of conversations revolving around that. So if that's something that is hard for you, not white people. White people need to read it and understand.
Agreeable.
If it's something that's hard for you as a person of color to intake that information in that way, then skip it, because I understand why that could be triggering in that way as well. White people be uncomfortable. White people need to be uncomfortable. You need to be more uncomfortable in order to confront what you need to. But this is also your big red flag spoiler warning. We were talking about the nitty, the gritty, the everything about this book, okay? So we read all of it, obviously, despite the fact that Belle does not remember the name of it. We are talking about everything about this book. So if you don't want to know the details, then maybe go read it on Kindle Unlimited before you come hang out with us and gossip. Yes. Or gossip with us first and then go read it if that's what you prefer. Either way, just know you're going to be spoiled for some big plot points. Yes. But because we only have 2 brain cells, those plot points might be out of order. We have never claimed that anything we say will be in plot order, and we never will.
I don't think we have.
It will never make the order in which we talk about things probably will never make sense. Do we talk about a lot of stuff though? Yes. So, all right, you ready to get into it?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Okay. So, star ratings. The book Flow on Amazon has a overall 4.3 star rating with 4,047 ratings. On Goodreads, it has a 4.04 with 1,500 ratings.
15,000.
15,000 ratings. It's so large. I forgot how to read it. We've never read a book this much. I'm just so used to saying 1,500. Like, yeah. So 15,000. Wild.
When I tell you, so Kennedy Ryan is super popular. Hang on, let me get up her like backlist.
For those of us that do not know, what is a backlist?
So the backlist of an author is what books they have published previously. Before I Let You Go is the biggest one that she has recently, like, released in recent years. That's the most. This Could Be Us is the next one. She's so popular. If I show you this cover, you might recognize it.
I think so.
It shows up on a lot of romance readers' lists. I'll pop it up now. But Before I Let You Go is one of the ones that I do want to read, but also I don't want to cry. I struggle a lot with contemporary romance, but she has continually been recommended to me as someone I would still like anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And after reading this, I hate to say that people were right. And that has 86,000 ratings. Yeah. Yeah. That's like, she's a big deal. She's one of the ways that like a lot of people measure too. She, I think, was a Book of the Month author. So like her book was like offered.
Reese Witherspoon's?
No, Book of the Month is like a service.
Oh, the blue.
Yeah, the blue
Got
box.
it.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I think her book was like offered as one of the selections for Book of the Month, I do believe. I would have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
If not, they're stupid. Especially after reading this, good God. And so she just did like that one went really well. She has quite a long list of like things she has written though.
Mm-hmm.
And she stays in the romance genre. She also has Long Shot, which is like a sports romance, and those are very well loved as well. That one has 65,000 ratings. So she's very well loved, and I can fucking see why.
Yeah. No.
I can see why.
What did you rate it? Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I gave the book a 4.5. I loved the book, but the ending, I could not give it a 5. When I tell you, I was so pissed that that's where it ended. So pissed. But like, I really enjoyed the conversations that were had in it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it gives a good, I don't want to say education, but it gives a good understanding or almost like a backstory to sometimes, like, as a white person, I obviously don't have the same experiences as other people of almost any, like, as a white woman, my experience is different from everybody.
Yeah.
So, and I recognize that I have privilege and is probably better than some others. But also putting yourself in a place where you're uncomfortable and learning can be really hard in like face-to-face or public, without having like someone that you're comfortable talking to, you know? So like it's nice to read it because it's almost like you're having that conversation since it's in your head. And I try to watch things as much as not probably as much as I should, but I don't shy, like I don't actively turn away when I see stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
Or anything. But it's like it's at me sometimes and not with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the with me conversations that happen in this.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I feel, yeah. And I think, strangely, I think that these are things, like, Bristol comes from a place of, like, extreme privilege, from wealth and from whiteness. And she has these conversations where she's not afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's wonderful. But it's also kind of very helpful, I think. We are, and you can tell me if you feel this way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like very isolated in the space we are in. This specific like part, we live in, not like we don't live in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
We live in the Midwest. Like we live in Amish country, Midwest. There is not a lot of diversity when it comes to people, I feel like. I work in
an area that has more diversity. So like, but it's not in a, living where we are now, I feel way more secluded. But when I was living at university, like I felt more immersed in so many different types of people. Like, I feel like
I felt more opportunities to be able to be like involved and interested and like be able to have maybe those conversations.
Yeah.
But now, especially as an adult, where I just, it's not even like Black people, people of color. I don't talk to anybody. No. I don't talk to anybody. No. So it's like, it's nice to have an outlet like this where I feel like I can get real genuine answers from somebody. Yeah. And be doing the right thing. I listened to something the other day that was talking about the fact that like the worst people about racism are liberals. Because you're so convinced that you're not racist, that you won't change. Yeah. And I never want to be that person. Yeah. Never ever want to be that person. I want somebody to say, hey, that sucked. Fix it. Tell me how to fix it. Give me more information. And that's what it felt like Bristol was doing. She was like, hey, I don't have the knowledge. Give me the knowledge. And so like, that's really so important to be willing to learn and willing to accept. And I know that it's not their job. No. And like, it was amazing of Grip to be like, no, I will take that on and I'll be willing to give you that information. And I think it's incredible of Kennedy Ryan to take that on as an author. Yeah. When she doesn't need to. When we've read other Black authors who were like, Blackness is a fact of life and I don't need to explain it to anybody, which is also an awesome, like, it's valid and awesome thing to do. Like, that's totally fine. Both of them are not bad. I think are incredibly good takes because I've learned from both of them. Yeah. But I am obsessed with the way Kennedy Ryan created a space where it felt like you were in the bubble. Yes. Where it felt like Bristol was your best friend and you knew Grip from birth. Where you knew all of them and you felt Ryerson's pain and like Ryerson wasn't even really in it and you still felt all of the things and you cared for all of it. Like, I didn't know how I wanted them to act because I was like, I understand. This sucks. Yeah. This sucks so bad. Because you know when somebody, you're like, you done fucked up, bro. You fucked up. I didn't feel that in this book. I was just like, I hurt so bad for these people who got fucked over by two people who were supposed to care and protect them. Yeah. And you know what? Their parents better not catch me in a dark fucking alley. No. I thought, like, at the beginning, I was like, okay, like, yeah, his parents were, like, momagers, like, you know, like, going too hard on the kid. And then, like, it slowly came about that, like, they gave him prescription meds to keep him going. And then he was young and his body was impressionable and he became addicted to it. And they didn't see a problem with it. And I really don't think, even after the fact, they had a problem with it. No, because they were like in court being like, no, it's fine. It's giving JoJo Siwa's mom. No, it's giving what the fuck, the girl that played Dorothy Gale. Judy Garland. I just watched a whole thing about Judy Garland. Judy Garland died at the age of 46 because she was so addicted. So what they would do is they would wake her up and they would give her uppers all day. And then they would give her enough sleeping pills to pass out for like 4 hours at night. Yeah. And then they would wake her up and give her uppers all day so she could perform because she was in like so many things because she was performing so much at such a young age. Yeah. And then by the time she like was like 20 and like out on her own, she was so addicted to pills. And like at that point she was also addicted to alcohol. She like could not function. And she was like telling people, she's like, do you know how hard it is to be me? Do you understand how terrible it is to be me? I don't know if I love singing. I could never love singing again because now it's so hard just to be fucking me every day, to wake up every day like this, like whatever this is. And it's so reminiscent of that because it does still happen in it's rumored that it happened with Shirley Temple as well, who there was a whole bunch of other allegations going around. A lot of child stars this happens to.
I don't know if we're allowed to say their name, but the Big D, all those kids.
Yeah.
They all got addicted.
Yeah. And so like it's one of those things that like allegedly in Minecraft. Allegedly in Minecraft. Don't sue us. I have $12. Don't sue me. But like it's so wild to like see that as just a background, and like she wove it in so beautifully.
She did. And
it was just like, oh, this is just a background. Like, that's a whole other storyline. And I
Honestly.
felt connected to it. And it mattered to me.
Yeah.
And you're just like, that's just a background one. And the tension between Grip and Bristol was top tier.
It really was. I will say, do you want to keep talking about that? Because mine's something different.
What?
I realized.
No, you're good. Go for it.
So, did I do a comment? Yeah. Okay. So, I have a hard time processing my emotions. So, I enjoy...
No! Really?
We use the deflect method over here.
Never seen that before in my life. Don't know what you're talking about.
So I like to watch movies or read books and like get those emotions out. And like before we got this book that we were going to read, I was like, I really want to read something with betrayal. Like I really want something that's going to hurt but then like brings me back.
Which is weird because you don't like that.
In real life, I hate betrayal. You betray me, you're gone. That's it.
Okay, but you also don't like it in books because we've talked about it before.
I was just in a mood. I don't know why, but I literally thought to myself, I said, I need to read something.
They were being fishy to Bertha the possum the other day. I feel like somebody betrayed her, so I'm going to need to read about that because I'm feeling some type of way. Sorry, continue.
When I tell you I was almost in tears, the first half of the book, I was almost in tears so many different times. Because, like, she gets there and no one's there. She meets this man she's never met before, and he's nicer to her than her brother and uncle, or twin brother. Mm-hmm. And, like, and I get, like, it's a lot for him to process, but also it was just a shitty thing for him to do. Like, the brother to do, in my opinion. Like, it was just hitting really hard in the betrayal. And, like, literally chapter 7, it's, God, I come here with my heart bleeding on my sleeve, and it's still not enough for him. He needs to cut it out and hand it to him in chunks of flesh and blood. And I said, BRB, crying, because I was. I was on the couch crying.
I mean, it's true. And, like, I think the thing is like, they are still really young in this book. Yeah. The book Grip takes place 8 years after this. So they're, like, fully grown adults.
Yeah. Yeah.
In this, she's 20.
Yeah.
So Ryerson's also 20.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I mean, I really kind of see it a lot. That I was, like, feeling really sad for Bristol to begin with, and then I was kind of seeing it more from Ryerson's point of view, though, that he was like, I stood in court and I proved that they were dosing me with prescription drugs, and you want to rock up and tell me that I need my career back? That was your set off, is that I need my career back, bro? That's it. And, like, I get that she, like, had this, like, whole plan in her head and she's a go-getter and whatever, but also, like, you have to understand what that seems like from his side, which is true, and then he also has to remember that he did kind of leave. She couldn't choose, She couldn't choose.
No.
She didn't get emancipated.
No.
She didn't have a reason to be emancipated.
Yeah. Because they ignored her.
So she was technically safe and sound. She didn't get emancipated and be able to like move with Uncle Grady. That wasn't an option she had. At no point in time did they indicate that she had that option too.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that they cracked down on her even harder to not be able to leave because he had left.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, well, you chose them. Bro, she was 15.
Yeah.
She was 15.
Yeah.
You made a choice for your own health, which, okay, great. And you were really strong to do it. That's really amazing. She was a 15-year-old girl who had been ignored her whole life.
Literally.
Her whole life. And you
Yeah.
thought there was something that you could... Did she come about it the right way?
No.
But also, should she have expected you to, like, follow... To, like, be that, like, there?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Well, because at that point, it was 5 years later.
Yeah.
So, like, and she was reaching out.
Mm-hmm. But she had been continually reaching out.
Yeah. And I feel like it was probably like my worst fears realized when she did ask that.
For sure.
And I don't, like, while I was reading it, I was like, that was a shitty move. Why'd you do that? That was the wrong way. You didn't do it right.
Yeah, I don't know why she panic-asked it.
Yeah, and she didn't approach it well. Because it wasn't... It was as, like, she said it as if it was definitely going to happen. And, like, it does. But also, like, she just, like, she should have been like, I want you to do something you want to do. And I want to support you in it. And this is how I want to be able to support you.
I'm going to say something that I just realized.
Yes.
I think the reason that it pisses me off so much that she did it that way
Yeah.
is because it was so in character, but also made no sense. Like, it
Yes.
made sense for her character. It was written so perfectly.
Yes.
But no, baby, no. Baby
Yeah.
girl, no. That's not how we do it. And, like, is it exactly what she would have... She never had any emotional intelligence given to her by her parents. She was never taught any of that. Like, is it exactly what she would... Like, a real person would have done in that scenario? 3,000%.
Yeah.
But no.
Don't do it.
No,
Don't do
I
it.
don't like it. She's just a baby. I don't like it. And I think that's why I hated it so much, is because I was like, no. They got in that fight, and I was like, no, she's going to say something stupid. No.
And then she did.
And then she fully did. And then when I found it, and the whole thing where it's like, Grip's like, this Tessa bitch still texted me, I was like, oh no. She's pregnant. She's pregnant.
It was in the back of my mind, but I was also like, why don't you just cut it off? Just say it. You know what I mean?
I knew that because he was like, yeah, usually I just let it fizzle out, and it does fizzle out. Because, like, most women are like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. And she didn't.
Yeah.
Because, like, he had very clearly been a player for a while.
Yes.
And everyone who ran in that crowd knew he was a player.
Yeah.
So, like, if you let it fizzle out, you let it fizzle out.
Yeah.
You know? And she wasn't letting it go.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys are a little too old to not let it go.
Yeah.
So I was like, she's either a psycho, or she's pregnant. And then I was like, but
Both.
Kennedy Ryan... I was like, Kennedy Ryan's too good of a writer to write her as a psycho, because that's a cop-out.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, she's pregnant. Or she's faking pregnant. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
I'll probably read Grip, most likely.
I already did.
No! I've been betrayed!
This is why I'm angry at you, because I stayed up till 4 a.m. because I don't do series. I don't do series because of this. I was like, okay, I can't do it. I'm so pissed. And my mom's like, just read the first couple pages. It'll probably pan out.
Dude, what did you
It does not.
Oh.
It does not in the first couple pages of the second book.
What'd you give Grip?
I think a solid 4. It
I'm
was
so
a
sorry that
little.
I introduced you to a really good series. Oh my god.
But I will say the second book does end in a place where I don't feel like you have to read book 3.
Is book 3 another full-length novel?
I believe so.
Wild. Is it about Ryerson?
No, it's a continuation of their story, and so I'm kind of nervous that something bad's gonna happen again, and I can't take that.
I like Ryerson. I want more information about Ryerson. Also, I loved their like bro huggy friendship.
Me too.
It was so sweet.
It was.
I also have like this weird thing for like into like he's like I'm only into music. Like he's like the closet genius shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. Like, I don't know.
But I'm a bitch and you're not, and so I have to be into the pretentious guy. Of course I do. Of course I do.
That's valid.
Duh. I'd be the one to sit next to him and read on the bench while he pays absolutely no attention to me for 8 hours, and we'd love it.
Be like, this is the life. This is what I
Yes.
No. Grip was really good, but spoiler, not his baby.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
I knew it was, I thought maybe
Yeah.
it was a hoax.
Yeah, it was not his baby. She was just trying to blame it on him.
Because he's a good man.
Yeah. And so, not his, but they don't get together until way late in the book.
Oh, yeah.
Way late.
Because she, like, now works with him.
Yes.
So, like, they can't be together. Because she's got that Ivy League integrity, baby. Which is a full joke. No one in Ivy Leagues has integrity. Actually, they would be fucking on the first page.
That is not why she refuses to be with him.
I'm so intrigued.
There is more betrayal to come. So much more.
Well, there's
betrayal.
there's 8 years in between.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can't imagine it goes well.
It coasts for a really long time and then gets really bad and then they get together. Yeah.
Usually.
And I will say the second one also has more of a focus on the interracial coupling than this book does. I feel like this book had a really good talk about more common themes
Yeah.
within is it like color theory?
It's racial theory.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Not the artistic color
You
theory.
said color theory. You said the color wheel?
Not that one.
Are they complementary colors? Are they opposing colors? Are they primary colors?
Everything starts with green. That's what I know from color theory.
Is he red? Is he blue? Is he yellow? He's primary. Everything can't start with green.
No, it does. That's like part of the color theory.
If everything starts with green, then why isn't it a primary color? Primary means one. Green's a secondary color.
I don't know what to tell you.
Art's stupid, bro.
It is. It really is.
I like ink on dead trees.
I like mine electric.
I like ink on dead trees electrified.
Yes. But I will say, what else do I want to say?
I don't know.
I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. When I tell you, I stayed up till 4 a.m. and I had to work the next day.
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous because when I finished Flow, I was like, oh my god, that was so good. And then my next thought was, oh my god, there was no spice in it and Belle's gonna hate me for that. I'm so glad to know that you didn't and you loved it as much as I did. Which just goes to show you how good of a writer
Yes.
Kennedy Ryan is.
Yes.
Which means that I'm gonna read her entire backlog.
Yeah. You probably should, yeah. Honestly, even though there wasn't spice, there was heat.
There was like
And
a
it
little
felt
like
good.
there was a lot of tension.
Yes.
There was a lot of tension.
Yes.
And I was like, interesting.
Yes. Also, her brother's an idiot for not realizing.
That they're that's what I mean. He's an oblivious genius, and I love him.
I will say he does not end up with Jimmy. Yeah, but he has a really good partner.
Good. I like Jimmy though.
He has a good storyline. He has good as in happy. We don't get a lot of it, but it's definitely happy.
He's one of those like side characters that I'm like, okay, well, you need to be like the main side plot. Like, give me a little bit more of your main side. Like, obviously, Grip's the main plot.
Yes.
As he should be. Because
Yes.
I fully enjoyed. There's very few, like, male main characters I enjoy, like, being in their head, like,
Yes.
stuff like that. I enjoyed equally to Bristol's. Like, I
Yes.
enjoyed, there was not, because sometimes when I read, like, a romance and they do dual POV, I'm like,
Yeah.
not this guy again. And sometimes I'm just like, that chapter was okay because it's in the guy's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Not with Grip. I might have actually enjoyed his more because I liked his sense of humor and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And his like world view was really fun to like see. But also he was like in a very comfortable territory, which like made it more interesting to see, where she was like, oh shit, there's stuff everywhere, oh my god.
Yeah.
And Grip was like, I'm at home. And that makes it a little bit easier to read from his
Yeah.
point of view, you know. But I really liked Ryerson.
Thinking about it, I feel like a lot of dual point of view, especially in smut, is written for female satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we always talk about like we as in parasocial collective of book people, thinking about like written by a woman, like that term, like he like written for women, like
By women, yeah.
So like I feel like a lot of male characters are written for that purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To like give a like, oh yeah, this is what a man not necessarily wants, but it's like a weird way to like self-validate that, like when you're reading it you're like, so like when I read like plus size ones, I want to know that a man wants a plus size woman. So reading that he does want her makes me feel better.
Oh yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's like a validation thing. For
Yes.
me, I don't like it because I'm a bisexual woman, and on principle I have to hate men at least an
That's
enormous amount.
That's true.
It's in the handbook.
It is.
When I go and sign up and I get my bi flag, I get a handbook, and the only thing in the handbook is hate all men except one. The one is my husband, so it's a requirement as a bi woman that I have to hate men more. I literally saw a stand-up comedian that was she's a lesbian. She's talking. She's like, I don't really interact with a lot of men, so like they don't really bother me. You know who hates men? And my favorite thing to do is to just be like, oh my god, he said that to you? And just watch a bi woman spiral. And I'm like, yeah, he didn't fucking say that to me. He did. That's me. I'll never not be stereotypical. I'm basic. I'm basic as shit. Like, I will never not. I am the bi white bitch, and I will always be the bi white bitch. I just don't like men. Sometimes I'm even writing my own book, which is dual POV, and I'll be like, I have to write the man now. Which, don't get me wrong, I love Liren. I do. He's amazing, and he's actually amazing, a golden retriever man, and I love him. But also at the same time, I'm like, ugh, I just need Helafina back, please. Please. But they need to know this information. So when I tell you I hate a man's perspective, it's not really that credible. When I tell you I like a man's perspective, that's high-ass praise.
That's what I mean.
I feel like I need to constantly wear something that says I'm bisexual so people remember how, like, where I'm coming from.
People probably know.
You said she's obnoxious. You're obnoxious enough. You don't need paraphernalia.
But
wow.
That's what I'm saying. Like, his point of view was not for my own validation. and it was still good.
Yeah. It was really good. I have to say, some of them are still good even for your own even for women's validation. Because women deserve validation and it's totally fine.
Yeah.
But also, his was just... all of the characters felt incredibly well developed.
Yes.
Like, they felt like full people.
Yes.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
Wild to do in a novella. Because that's... I mean, like, I know she ended up writing a series about it, but to be able to develop, like... Because it's not just, like... She obviously knows. Like, you know more before you write a novella, whatever. To be able to infuse it onto the page...
Yeah.
And show...
Yeah.
She's an icon.
She really is.
She's a legend.
She's an icon. She's a legend.
I can't not... Like, I am not a contemporary romance girly. And I loved it. I was, like, fully eating up the shit where he's like, yeah, I'm still fucking around with the girl. I never like that. This is not a storyline I like. No, this is not a storyline I like. Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
It really was. If it was a complete package, I would have given it a 5.
I think you're giving it a 4.5 because you're bitter.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Which is also valid.
No, I'm so pissed that I had to read a 400-page book. I don't know the last time I've done that. I have not done that in a really long time, okay?
I'm changing things around here. Making a difference.
But I will have you know, I am balancing the scales by reading 2 50-page novellas.
Hey, that works.
Yeah, we love to see it.
And I'm balancing the scales entirely in the universe or on this couch because I read 2 full-length books yesterday. I finished Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver and My Funny Demon Valentine.
That is wild. I'm envious of people who read fast.
I can read some things fast. You give me a fantasy, though. I'm slogging through that bitch.
No, everything. I get distracted and I'm like, let me replay that in my head. So then I go back and I reread it and like move things in my head sometimes.
I think it just depends on like where I'm at. Because like I was like, Oh, yesterday I did take my Vyvanse though. So I was like, let's read, baby. I'm in. I locked in. I was ready. But I also read Deep End by Ellie Hazelwood all in one sitting.
Oh.
Which is a 443-page book.
Didn't that just come out?
Yeah, it did. And Amazon sent me a ripped cover copy. And I said, fine, fuck you. And I read it
and
all in one day, returned it, and went to Target and I got a new one.
As you should.
Because that was rude. It was especially, it had the sprayed edges. It was gorgeous. Except for the entirely ripped cover. The entirely ripped cover? Are you kidding me? No.
Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. No, we'll not be doing that. Absolutely not. So.
Ripped cover, straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
Dog ears, straight to jail. I'm guilty of that one.
I'm aware because I'm reading that stupid old magic book. I can't. I'm on part 2 and I can't go back into it because I can't wrap my head around what just happened in that book. And I'm like, every time I go to pick it up, I'm like,
this is not what I remembered. Because it's completely different.
Every time I go to like pick it up, I remember what they just did. And then I'm like, I don't know that I'm ready for that yet. I don't pick it up.
Good. It's so good.
And I don't pick it up because I'm like,
It's so good. When you give it back to me, I'm going to reread it.
Just remember, they're in Australia.
That blew my mind. Never have I ever. I definitely put them in like Twilight area of America.
I did too, and then every once in a while they would say something and they would be like, hello mate, put a shrimp on the barbie, and I'd be like, what?
I thought it was just like an irk.
And then they were like, oh yeah, in Queensland, and I'm like, oh, they're Australian, like they're fully
Would I tell you, high school me didn't know Queensland was in Australia.
High school you fully
yeah, no, geography's not my strong suit.
It's okay. You can hang out when we play trivia. You can hang out with my mom and answer all the questions with her. Because if you ask her where the Grand Canyon is, she thinks it's in Colorado.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in Arizona.
We're a good pair.
Killing it. Okay, you got anything else to say about the book?
Not 100%. Just in general, as a white person, I feel like you gotta realize that you're raised certain ways.
For sure.
And society tells us to think certain things. And so we have to actively go against it. And I saw a video of this dude. I hope I can find him again, because he's a black male and he watches videos. I believe he's gay as well, because he watches like homophobic videos also, and like gives opinions on it. And he mentioned something about like people can have like racist instances or events like in interactions and still not be a bad person or overall be racist.
Yeah, so that goes along with the I'm currently listening to the book White Fragility. And it's about like white people being unable to accept this idea of racism. And the author of that talks about the fact that racism isn't necessarily a word or a topic. It is a system in which we are raised.
Yeah.
And we are acting within that system how we know how. And so like white people, people break down.
Yeah.
The second you point out that you've done anything slightly racism.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have been raised in a system of which is only known this racist space. And so you are going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And so it's not okay, because it's still a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
But it is something you need to be called out on to face.
Yes.
Incredibly important.
Yeah. It's the whole like deflecting the issue of like, oh, I'm not, and being like, oh, okay, that was racist. Let me reflect on why it was, why I thought that way, and what can you do next time to make sure you don't do whatever you did, or change why you think that way.
Yeah, for sure. I think, and that like goes for sexism, racism, a lot of that stuff, like misogyny. We were raised in a very misogynistic culture and things like that. Like you have to confront those ideas a lot of the time. Sometimes it's really hard, and sometimes you're really tired, and sometimes you don't want to. But the reality is to be functioning in this society in a better way, it's incredibly important to make a safer space for all people of color. The work has to also be extended to, because I think that's one of the things is like we place all of the work onto the backs of people of color and black people to be like, oh, well, was that racist? Tell me why it's racist. Tell me what's going on. No.
Yeah.
Somebody says that's racist. You figure it out.
Yeah.
You fix it. You do better.
Yeah.
You come to the terms of what needs to happen so that you are doing better for society. It is not on every black person out there to fix you.
Yeah.
And what you do.
Yeah.
Just like that's not how this works. And they're allowed to be pissed. They're allowed to be upset. So they don't need permission.
No.
And I think that this was a great way, though, to like show that there are also black people who do want to have that discourse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that there's asking questions is not necessarily a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, today we're going to talk about something kind of strange. When don't we? But I promise it does end up being relevant. So, it's going to be related to, like, the literature community, like, in the future, specifically to, like, what we're talking about, Kindle books, ebooks, because it's very effective in this community. So, a company called Thomson Reuters, I think, a multinational content-driven tech company, conglomerate, just won a lawsuit against Ross Intelligence about AI copyright use. Essentially, Ross used Thomson's stuff to train its AI, claiming it was fair use. So, what do you know about the Fair Use Act?
Is that where there's like a time limit on it?
No. So,
Okay.
I think that's a different act, the one where it becomes public
Yeah.
after 100 years. That is
Yeah.
not what they're talking about.
Okay.
Fair Use Act is the ability to use something, like a small snippet of something. That's the reason that, like, commentary creators can use, like, 10 seconds of a
Okay.
video. The Fair Use Act allows you to use an amount of something in order to, as long as, like, proper credit is given if it's necessary and things like that. And it extends to like writings and literature as well.
In school, I had a professor say that they're able to, I think, print off like 25% of a book.
Yeah.
Like a textbook before it became like a no-no.
So that would be under the Fair Use Act. So different things fall under different parts of the Fair Use Act. Like video is a very common use. So if you watch a lot of commentary YouTubes, you'll sometimes see them pop up on the front before their video, like a thing that says Fair Use Act that is listing their ability to use the likeness and sound and voice of a person for up to a certain amount of time, because they are transforming the content in some way. So, like, you can use 10 seconds without any transformation. You can use, like, the whole video as long as you're popping in using commentary, things like that. Because that is fair use in order to, like, allow us to essentially, like, critique and comment on different things. Okay. So, what do you know about AI and ebooks?
I know that kids use them for essays. With ebooks, I do not know.
Just so everybody knows, I do a lot of research before this. I don't put any of it in the script, and I do quiz Belle just so she doesn't know shit. Specifically so she can ask questions, and then I can tell everybody the answers. Just for future reference.
You're welcome.
So, ebooks.
Yes.
Recently have been getting called out a lot. So actually, I think very recently, a specific author who was publishing a lot on KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, which is Kindle Unlimited publishing, essentially, because they were using AI to generate their entire book. So an AI generator, not necessarily, but similar to ChatGPT, to write an entire novella or novel. Then they were publishing it under themselves as an independent publisher, creating an AI generated image to put on the front, and then making money off of it as they marketed it. So they didn't have to write or anything like that. Yeah. So also, specifically, like, Victoria Aveyard, I know, has spoken about this before. If you don't know who Victoria Aveyard is, please look her up. She is a YA author. She's also going to come out with an adult pirate fantasy soon, and I'm so excited to read it. But she is a wonderful, wonderful wealth of information, as well as a source of incredible, like, strength in the writing community. She's kind of blurring the lines where traditional writing is concerned, because they tend to hide, like, not a lot of stuff is known for traditional publishing, and Victoria Aveyard puts it all out there, and she's doing awesome work, and she's so cool. She was also very, 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 very funny. So she has talked about AI generated work and how some of her books have even been used to what's called train AI.
Yeah.
So that is the reason that this Thompson's firm won this, because they were claiming Ross Intelligence was claiming it was fair use to use Thompson's stuff to train their AI. So their AI was not putting out Thompson stuff.
Yeah.
It was only using their stuff to train their AI to write like their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the judge denied that reasoning and ruled in favor of Thompson's. That bodes well for a ton of writers.
Yeah.
Hopefully. This is just the first in one of these cases, because essentially what a lot of publishers want to do and what a lot of people want to do is take published works like Stuff We Love and train AI to write books and then have them traditionally published without author credit. Now, there's no like official notice that this is a thing that anybody wants to do.
Yeah.
It's just generally known that
Yeah.
AI is being trained with traditionally published works as well as self-published works with and without the author's consent and or knowledge. A lot of times it's without consent but with knowledge, and even more times it's without consent or knowledge. And they're taking whole books, placing them into AI to train it, and they're learning to create books via that. So this ruling kind of really helps to discourage that practice, because then you no longer have the fair use claim. So without the fair use claim, which a lot of these AI trainers would have, a lot of these intelligence companies would have, you can no longer take books and place them into AI to train them. So a lot of these works are safe from having that happen, and it could mean that maybe less AI generated works are placed out there. But I do believe like the person that got caught had like 84 or something books that were AI generated.
Not thinking about the ethics, just thinking about what I've seen AI put out. Were the books even good?
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
But KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, pays via page count. So if you can get somebody to download it and even just read a few pages and you have that many, you're still making a decent amount of money, you know, and you're wasting people's time, and you're also taking up space in a space where people want to, and nobody knew that these were AI generated. There was the marketing was not that. Yeah. So it can cause, and it also, like, literature are works of art. They are. And it takes the humanity and the work of art out of it.
Yeah.
Entirely. Which is a real concern for a lot of people, myself included. I don't like that. I think that's disgusting. And I don't think that AI should be allowed to be given these works that somebody works years on to generate a book within 10 seconds. I think that's disgusting.
That is wild.
Yeah.
A whole book.
Happens more often than you think. But yeah.
That's crazy. So how does that relate to anything we've been talking about?
It doesn't.
I thought you said it would.
I said it related to books.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
But also, like, Kennedy Ryan's traditionally published. So her books would be used if... So it relates to all books in general.
That's true.
It does not relate directly to what we have been speaking about, because I'm trying to keep it as PG-13 as possible so I don't have to actually age restrict this on YouTube.
I love that.
The question I was going to ask would not keep this PG. We'll ask that next week. We'll talk about that next week. It's about the book Kinky Books.
Kinky books?
Yeah, there's a book called Kinky Books. I'm very excited. So.
Okay.
It is also Black History Month. If you didn't know, Black History Month. It's important to acknowledge that we have a platform which holds privilege simply because of our whiteness. That's so pale. So pale. We cannot begin to speak on the experience of Black people, but we can use our voices to amplify Black voices and make sure Black stories are showcased in our space. Black people were not given the right to an equal education in the U.S. until 1954, which is within our grandparents' lifetimes, which is gross. I can't believe it was that late.
I think that's the year my dad was born.
That's wild.
Yeah.
We do our best to make sure Black authors are included in our podcast always. But I would like to highlight some specifically in the Google Doc that I will have linked down below. It's going to have a bunch of linked articles that will take you to a bunch of recommendations by Black people as well as people way smarter than me. Both Black and white and all kinds of just way smarter than me. And they will recommend a bunch of Black authors for you. But this week I'm going to focus on the present, and instead of recommending books, I'm going to be recommending long form content creators like us who are Black creators. The Black creators, they're just Black creators I love that I watch often, and honestly I came up with these while writing the script. I did not look them up, so these are just the ones that I remember from the top of my head. Janani from The Story Ain't Over, who also has a publishing imprint, which is amazing. Mika from Mika August, Erin from Booked and Busy, and Kaylani from Kaylani Simply Me. All four of them I watch on a regular basis and get their little notifications.
I love that.
I was like, do I remember? The hardest part was remembering their usernames.
Yeah.
But not Erin from Booked and Busy. I was like, Booked and Busy. I was like, what's her name? What is her name? And I was like, why can't I remember her name? Because her channel name's alliterative. And I was like, that's the only thing I'm ever going to remember. If you give me something alliterative, I'm never going to remember anything else about you.
Period.
Never.
Period.
There are a million more. These are literally just a few on YouTube that I can remember because I watch them regularly. Please make sure that you're getting ideas from people outside your comfort zone and expanding your ideas and thoughts in 2025. So one way to do that is by engaging with content creators that are outside your normal range or your skin tone. And so I will link all of them down below, as well as the Google Doc, so that you can also engage with the Black authors that are recommended. I also recommended some Black authors last week for Black history, so if you'd like to check out those, then I would definitely recommend it, because those are my favorite Black history authors. So, and now we're moving on to our next selection for our next week's episode.
Oh.
You excited?
Are we going to announce it?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
We're going to announce it because we want you to read it and support the author as much as possible. So we are going to be doing special picks this month for Black history. So we're doing one more Black author, possibly. We're going to spin the wheel next month. So we might be doing another Black author because we have a BIPOC and LGBTQIA plus wheel. Or we could be doing a sentient object romance. Who knows?
We need to add the Energizer Bunny to it.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. We are going to be reading Taming Cain by Tessa Stone. So please go check it out, read it, and support the author as much as you can. And then we will see you next week to talk about it.
Okay. Well, that is, after that long-winded conversations we had, good combos, but after everything and our brain cells have finally settled, we love that you're here. So ladies, gents, theys and theys. Theys and thems. I said theys and theys.
We gotta go.
The brain cells they're asleep.
We gotta go.
We love you. Love
Bye.
us. We love you.
Subscribe.
Yes,
Bye.
please.